Toxic relationships are draining. They can really pull you away from improving your own mental health, from understanding more about who you are as a person, and even hold you back from goals that you're trying to achieve in your life. But what exactly is considered a toxic relationship? How can you tell if you're in one at all? Well, in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to be diving into and helping to point out. I'll be sharing some behavior patterns that you might find in an individual that is toxic in a relationship. I'll be sharing some questions that you can ask yourself if you're unsure about whether this person is healthy for you or not. And lastly, I'll be sharing some steps that will help you healthily disengage from this potentially toxic relationship. Please know before continuing to watch this video that this video is tailored towards addiction recovery. So even though a lot of the information shared in this video does apply to all toxic relationships in a sense, if you are currently going through the recovery process right now, this video will definitely be helpful for you. The first part we're going into is how can we identify toxicity within a relationship? Identifying toxicity within a relationship can be difficult. But with these 5 identifiers of behavior and actions around you that you're about to see now, you'll be able to figure out if you may need to actually shift the perspective you currently have on the person that you have this relationship with. Here are the examples. This individual you have a relationship with is refusing to take responsibility for any of their actions. The second example, despite knowing that you're trying to recover and you're in the middle of your recovery process, they are still choosing to drink around you and they're still choosing to take drugs around you as well. Third, you begin to notice that they are extremely critical of you. So even though they're critical of you though, they're actually still refusing to acknowledge their own struggles or their own mistakes and their own shortcomings altogether. The fourth example, they begin to undermine you and start being dismissive towards you. You begin to notice that when you start sharing your own thoughts and your own feelings and ideas, they don't really seem engaged with them. They actually start to get kind of quiet, or they just throw your ideas and thoughts and feelings away altogether. That's very toxic. This last example is that they actively refuse to respect your boundaries. When you say things like that and you notice that they aren't respecting that, or they're pushing back and saying things like, "Oh, come on, no, don't worry about none of that stuff. Come over here and do this with us." If that is pressure that you don't want, then understand that this is unhealthy as well. If you're going through or experiencing any of these things with the person you're in a relationship with, then it may be time to start thinking about how to let go of this toxic relationship. Letting go of a relationship with someone is a lot easier said than done. Cutting someone out of your life or decreasing the amount of time that you spend with someone else can be difficult. You may want things to work out between you and your friend or your partner or your family member. So to help with this kind of inner dialogue that happens when it comes to letting go of relationships, here are some questions that you should ask yourself if you're unsure about whether or not this person is healthy for you. Do I feel better or worse when I spend time with this person? Does this person make me feel insecure when I'm around them? Do I feel manipulated in any way? Do I feel like I have to spend time with this person? Is this person possessive or controlling of me? And lastly, do I crave this person's attention? If you said yes to any of these questions, then please know that these are potentially red flags, and you should consider ending this toxic relationship. This is especially important to consider if you're early in your recovery process, because having people around you that are toxic puts your sobriety at risk. The last aspect of toxic relationships that I want to talk to you about is you. And what I mean by that is the self-care aspect of letting go of a toxic relationship. Here's some tips that will help you take care of yourself and help you learn how to healthily break away from a toxic relationship. 1, express your feelings. Let the person know why you're choosing to take a step back and no longer engage with them in the first place. And when you do this, make sure to say it in a way that shows that you've taken ownership of what you're experiencing. An example of what this looks like is, on one hand, you're saying to the person, "You make me feel sad. You make me feel mad. You make me feel this way." But on the other hand, in terms of the ownership aspect, it's saying things like, "I feel sad when you do this. I get mad when you do this to me. This thing that you do is what makes me upset. Doing this shows that you've given time and thought into why you're expressing what you're expressing. And it also shows why you're choosing to take a step back. The second tip, stick with your decision. When you break away from a toxic relationship, let alone any relationship really, a lot of intense emotions can come up right after you made this decision. You might feel guilty, sad, angry, ashamed, a sense of relief. You might even be feeling a combination of all of these emotions and more emotions I didn't say. But the thing to remember here is that regardless of how you're feeling, remember you made this decision for a reason. Even though this person was not toxic 100% of the time, their actions and their behaviors was putting your recovery and your mental health on the line, and that's never okay. So hold firm to the decision that you made for yourself. Putting your health first does matter. The last tip of self-care advice I have for you in terms of ending a toxic relationship is seeking professional advice and help if needed. There's nothing wrong with getting professional advice, especially because talking to somebody else about what you're going through and what you're experiencing can actually be really helpful. Keeping in what you're experiencing, now that can be a lot. So talking with a mental health professional or couples counseling or even seeing a therapist can be ways to not only help show someone else if they're the person that's being toxic, but more importantly, it can help show you a different angle on how to look at this individual to help you better understand and strengthen the reason why you decided to leave this toxic relationship in the first place. All right, now up to this point of this video, you've learned ways to identify toxic behaviors and toxic relationships. And you've also learned questions that will help you push through making this decision, as well as ways to healthily disengage from a toxic relationship altogether. I hope this video was helpful for you, and just in case, if you do want to take action right now in terms of talking with a professional, you can. Here at Sandstone Care, that's exactly what we're here for. At Sandstone Care, we offer treatment programs, sober living, and offer other mental health resources to help you out if you're struggling with recovering or finding like-minded people that are passionate about wanting to healthily help you make it through your recovery process. To get into contact with a Sandstone Care member right now, who, by the way, will be a real person that will want to get to know you and your situation, you can live chat them right now at sandstonecare.com or call the number below. You are not alone in facing this situation. I'm rooting for you. If you have any other questions, make sure to comment them down below so that way we can answer them and help out the best we can. Here's to more healthy relationships and even better self-care. Have a good one.